right.
So, I was saying, I was worried that Jura's goal was to get the Soul Thorn in this arc, and now he's leaving because he's won. Despite the fact that he announced last chapter that his goal is now to kill Boruto.
So I want to just read this last panel and then we'll complain.
You're incredibly lucky. It's as though the heavens are urging you to stay alive. Is this what they call divine intervention?
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So, real quick.
Yeah.
Let's just go back to the top of this chapter. Now, I think what to do way at the top, very tippity top. One of the first things we read. Okay, so let's just real quick. Relentless definition. Someone who is determined to do something. Someone who is relentless is determined to do something and refuses to give up, even if what they are doing is unpleasant or cruel. Relentless definition. Merriam-Webster. Showing or promising no abatement of severity, intensity, strength, or pace. I feel like let's get one more definition. Continuing in a severe or extreme way. Okay, I feel like we've got a good sense of relentless. Jura did none of this.
He didn't even pursue.
Jura shot Boruto once.
This is a relentless pursuit.
When somebody does something one time, and only one time, I would not consider that relentless. He gave up immediately.
You know, I have a worse part about this. So, it's framing this as...
Oh, I have plenty of worse things.
No, I know, but like, Boruto is the one shot by Jura's magic bullet. Can he, in reference to Boruto... So this chapter is asking the audience, going into it, preparing them, hyping them up. Can Boruto do anything about this? No, he can't.
No.
He doesn't have to. Jura doesn't have to do anything either.
And it didn't matter.
She just leaves.
Now, I wrote a podcast topic for this was the big one. So like, honestly speaking, I will just tell you right now, thematically, this chapter does something really, really good, I think. Very good for the Naruto franchise, mind you. Very happy about that. But this is my biggest complaint of the chapter. So, in the story, the characterization of Jura, yes, there is plenty of things you can say for why Jura would want to leave. Just go look at my chapter 11 video if you haven't seen it, people. And I go into it enough that you get the idea. Oodie and I have talked about this on podcast plenty. Okay, this is
Probably
what Jura kind of does. He finds any excuse he can to not do the things that the Ten Tails would do, despite outwardly basically try to be the Ten Tails. It's a contradiction, but it's a good contradiction. It's a narrative contradiction that works. The problem, though, is the plot. The plot and the story do not connect in a cohesive way whatsoever in this situation. Hypothetically, if they just remove a lot of Jura's dialogue and they just have him leave, that's almost better, because at least you can just leave it up to viewer interpretation.
Yeah.
But in this case, they added in stuff from Bug and Matsuri, and they did it wrong. There were so many better ways of doing this, but as it stands, Jura sees Hidari dead, snipes Boruto, sucks up the Thulsorn, declares that not that he wants to kill Boruto, but that he needs to kill Boruto, prepares to snipe him again, even says like, it's a shame, but time for you to die. Then Bug shows up and he just mentions, Matsuri, and then out of nowhere, Jura's just like, bro, we gotta go before Hidari rots. No, you don't. If you had time to snipe him the first time, you had time to talk to Bug. Clearly, Hidari was not in a rush to get back. Otherwise, he would have just gone back immediately. The fact that he's taking the time to do all these side tangents. He had time. It takes 2 seconds for this dude to snipe Boruto.
Yeah, that's what I was
You
gonna say.
had time to kill him real quick. And even if you fucking didn't, just give the soul thorn to Bug and have him go back.
I was thinking that
You
too.
don't need to go there. Just kill him.
Thing. Like, if anything, Bug showing up
Very
is an
easy to fix
excuse for
this.
him to not go back. Like, hypothetically, Bug didn't show up, maybe
again,
he would have to go back, but now he doesn't need to because Bug's here.
Yeah, and it's like characterization. Again, I'm fine with it. So easy peasy fixes. All you gotta do is either appeal to Jura's quirky characterization, his personality quirk, his curiosity. What is this information that Matsuri has? I'm so curious. I just can't wait. I need to go back. Jura's personality quirk, his curiosity. Option 1. The second, why is it that he said he needed to kill Boruto, despite wanting him as a sacrifice? The information he possesses and what he can do with that information is extremely dangerous. What did Jura just learn? Boruto has an ally, and he is the true source of the information, meaning that if anyone's dangerous, it's that ally, Kashingoji. That's the one who really needs to die. So if he said, oh, I see. Actually, I wrote this down in like more normal dialogue
I was thinking the
on my
same
phone
thing
earlier. Let me go find it real quick.
I'm glad we're on the same page.
But yeah, so yeah, okay, here's I don't need to quote the whole thing. Yeah, I kind of did the gist of the other part. But anyway, where did I write what he could have said?
Do you want me to go while you're finding it, or you found it?
Okay, no, I found it. Okay. Examining Jura's dialogue, it's clear that Jura doesn't want to kill Boruto. He just thinks he needs to kill Boruto because blah blah blah. Because his heart desires otherwise, all you need to do is play into Jura's curiosity, his little character quirk, or insert a self-imposed reason for why he no longer needs to kill Boruto. Or better yet, why not do both? After learning Matsuri, blah blah blah. He learns that Boruto has an ally to source Boruto's information, making this ally the one who is truly the dangerous one. Bug has now accidentally appealed to Jura's curiosity through his probable interest in Matsuri's information, and Jura's humanity by giving a reason why he no longer needs to kill Boruto, instead shifting his focus onto this mysterious ally who somehow has this crucial information. And because Jura wants Boruto alive, not only because he's curious about him, but because he's sacrificed, it makes sense for Jura to be like, oh, I don't need to kill him anymore. What a wonderful opportunity. Let's go back now. That's how you connect the plot and the story in a sensible, cohesive way. But what they did doesn't make any sense. Not only that, though, never mind Boruto. What happened to devouring Himawari? Again, in the story, we have talked about the fact that Jura was probably just going to, like, ditch it. He's just not going to go through with it once he finds an excuse not to. That's all fine and dandy. But you gotta add a little bit of plot to the element, because a story has plot. In the plot, again, there's no reason, because again, he can just give Bug the Thorn Soul, kill Boruto, devour Himawari, and get everything he supposedly wanted to do. But he doesn't do that, and he does it for a reason that makes no sense. Because not only was Hidari not gonna fucking rot, clearly, he had time to snipe the first time. Again, he can just give it to Bug. It takes 2 seconds to kill Boruto. Never mind Himawari, bro. It's just like, Himawari's knocked out too. Then it take 2 seconds to devour her too. She's not gonna fight back. All he had to do was, I don't even care about the needing to die. He could have just been so curious about Matsuri's information that he wanted to leave. And they just didn't pick the right reason for him to go back.
They didn't pick a reason at all, let's be honest.
Grinds my gears.
Let alone the right one.
It's not a reason. And again, the story element of Jura's character, it's good. But this is horrible execution on that regard. And this is like, we'll get into the Kishimoto nonsense in another stream, but Kishimoto probably writes, like, he gives the idea, like, this is Jura, this is his characterization, he's gonna do this because of this, but you gotta execute it, and that's where it's not Kishimoto.
Yeah.
That's where you get some of these things that are good in theory, but awful. Because it's not Kishimoto executing it. The execution makes a huge ass difference. But this is It's again, this is my gripe with the chapter. The other stuff I thought was good for the most part. Thematically, very good, actually.
Okay,
But
interesting.
this just bothered me.
No,
Because it's
I
so
completely
stupid. It
agree.
was so
So
easy to
far,
fix.
it's hilarious to look at all the comments and be like, Ikimoto was cooking, guys. This chapter is hype. I can't believe it. It's great. What's been hype about this? Anything is anti-hype. It's a fight that should have happened that isn't gonna happen.
Yeah. And it should have, again, in the previous chapter, like, again, I've decided that you need to die. It's the worst cliffhanger of all time now because bro decided in 3 seconds, never mind. That's it. That's it, by the way. Just never mind.
Yeah.
There's no elaboration.
So I had two different...
Just remove that line. Just have, like, again, now, and I know this doesn't have a cool chapter cliffhanger, but if you want to go this Hidari's gonna rot route, just end chapter 11 with him going back being like, he could have said something ominous like this. Like, it's unfortunate, but I need to go back. But be warned, Boruto. I'll return. Like, I've decided that you need to die, and I will return to kill you. Something like that. That works now. He's established, I need to bring Hidari back or he will rot, and he does go back, and he leaves no time to spare. He goes immediately back, only declaring that he will return in the future. That would be fine. But you can't have him do this. I'm gonna kill you right this freak in 3 seconds. The sniping, boom, 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 boom. Oh, Bug. Oh, wow, Bug. Good to see you, buddy. Let's go back. You can't do that.
I completely agree with absolutely everything you're saying. Like, you're taking the words right out of my mouth. As I think of them. So
I'm saving this for like the end of my review. Probably I'm gonna do what I did that other video where I start with the good stuff because I already know if I start with this, people are gonna throw a fit. But it's true, guys.
Yeah. By the way, to just debunk the nitpick comment hater people that are trying to call you out right now. Technically, he did have time the first time he sniped him. It was the second or third time he sniped him that he didn't have time for. Because, like, he had to snipe him for Boruto to drop it in the first place, for him seemingly to air suck it to him, which apparently he needed to snipe him for that, I would assume. Like, if Boruto just was holding him normally and then it got air sucked away, I feel like Boruto just would have held his grip onto it. So I just want to clarify that.
No, but my thing is, like, again, though, he's entertaining the conversation with Bug. Just snipe him real quick.
Exactly. Even sniping Sarda, again, it's not that Sarda has the deadly information, it's that Sarda's about to pick it up, and no one can pick it up for him to suck it to him. He already has it. Bug clarifies, like, oh my god, you already have it, that's crazy, wow. He's trying to snipe Boruto. This is no longer about the Soul Thorn. And he has a Soul Thorn, and it's actively rotting in his hand, or whatever, and he's still doing it, he just doesn't care.
Yeah, and again, let's just say there was a time that he has 15 seconds. Then you should have had it in the last chapter. I need to hurry before the Soul Thorn rots. As adding a ticking time clock. So when Bug shows up, it's like, oh, Bug just made him run out of time. Again, that would be fine. But they didn't do that.
I completely agree. That's exactly what I was going to say as well. The fact that they're introducing this new element of the fact that these things can and do rot, that's information we didn't have last chapter that we should have had going into this chapter. This just feels out of nowhere. Feels like the plot just needs Boruto not to be sniped.
I don't think it does rot. I mean, but honestly, bro, because you already know they're gonna have this plot community. That Soul Thorn, so many Soul Thorns gonna be sticking around for 3 chapters without rotting in the future. You already know it.
I mean, do thorns rot? Question mark. Like,
no.
The crown of thorn of a plant can suffer from root rot if the soil is too wet for too long.
Well, that wasn't applicable here. It definitely wasn't too wet.
Let alone the root of the plant. So yeah, that's not a thing. I
Thor.
completely agree. I have two ways of how I would have rewritten this, and this goes back to, especially considering Bugs.
This makes it literally like the sixth way we've proposed.
I know. So going back to like the sinisterness of when Bug chose his target, he's like, Ada, my target is you. And it felt like not only just sinister to men, but also like they are a credible and actual valuable threat for the story. It feels like they can contest the strongest people, and they even arguably have a leg up over them. They're smiling as if they've already won. It's like they're playing 5D chess or whatever. They just have an advantage over our heroes. And we're rooting for our heroes. So that makes them a credible threat, not only for the characters, but for the audience. So going with that concept, imagine here if instead of, oh, Matsuri came back based on her research, someone's probably helping Boruto. Imagine if Bug is like, and again, this is cool because this shows this entire time they've been doing something worth of value, and that these characters are these credible threats that we think they are. Off screen, they'd already been assessing the situation themselves. So imagine Bug comes and he says something along the lines of, we've discovered who's been helping Boruto all along. We know his identity. And Matsuri wants to tell you herself. You could do that as one interpretation. Because now they know, not only someone's helping Boruto, they know who it is. They know it's Kashin Koji. The second interpretation I had, or a different way of rewriting this, would be, we've discovered the location of the one helping Boruto. Because now it's almost like a ticking time clock. It's like Matsuri wants you to go herself, or Matsuri wants you to go yourself immediately. Like, again, that's like, I'm not going to say it's a ticking time clock, but now you've set something in motion.
No, but it gives Jura a reason to be like, never mind Boruto, let's handle this informant first, this ally, the more dangerous one.
Yeah. Well, again, it doesn't work just as a reason for Jura to leave. It works to trap our heroes. Kashin Koji is now in a parallel predicament scenario. Perilous is what I meant, not parallel, perilous. But he's trapped.
It is parallel to Boruto, I guess.
Well, yeah, but it's like, we were expecting them to go after Boruto. We weren't even expecting them to go after Koji. If anything, we thought Koji would be the one going after them. This is almost like when Kara was trying to get back Kawaki, and then, but again, this is from like the opposite perspective of we're rooting for Naruto. And then Naruto's like, you know what? Screw Delta. I'm going after your leader. It's even worse than that because Naruto didn't know who or where the leader was. In this case, Jura not only knows either where or who the leader is, but he's going immediately after them. Like, right now. So, like, that would have been way cooler.
Now, I'll say right now, we're going to talk about it. I did see at least a couple Twitter posts. I'm sure there's probably more by now. The only plot twist in this chapter is this scene right here. This actually is a horrible one, but this is a plot twist. The author led us in the direction to believe Jura was going to attack Boruto. Obviously, we probably don't think he's going to actually kill him, but he's going to try to kill him. And what did they do? It radically shifted it in the opposite direction. Bro just dipped. That's a plot twist. A horrible one, but this is a plot twist. The other thing, the big crazy thing, it's not a plot twist. We'll discuss why later.
Okay, yeah. From when I scrolled down, from when I scrolled down earlier, it looked like Boruto had some weird demon transformation that might have been some weird Sage mode looking thing. It might not have even been Boruto. It might have been Koji. It could have been someone else. I don't know. Maybe it was Borushiki taking it. It looked like someone with dark eyes. It could have been a freaking new Shinju for on. That's all. I'm assuming that is in reference to whatever the crazy thing is, but we'll get to it. You don't have to say anything.
I don't know what you saw.
I might just completely missaw entirely.
Yeah, I don't know what you saw, so I couldn't tell you. We'll return to this again at the end with slightly more context, but I feel like this alone gives you enough of a foundation, because most of the chapter is going to be other stuff. So this will give you enough of a foundation. I think we can start the discussion. The way I see this, there's two possibilities. One, I think would just honestly be better than the other.
Yeah.
Either we are just after the midpoint. The midpoint was the false victory with Hidari getting his soul thorn that they didn't actually get. That's option, and then we're gonna do the second half of the arc. It starts with this chapter, second half. That's option 1. Option 2, this is basically the end of the arc.
Yeah, that's what I think it is.
And when you read the full chapter, I'm gonna ask you again because I feel like both work too well. And both would make sense. Not like the end of the arc doesn't make sense, like in a sense, but it makes sense for what it feels like at the same time. And it's really weird. Now, under the hypothetical, if this is just like a midpoint situation, again, this is a lot better. If this is the end of the arc, though, it's just like the prophecy arc. We just cut the arc short. Because even if you want to say, oh, the Hidari battle was actually the final battle, blah, blah, blah. Even if you say that, we still skipped over a lot of parts. Like, for example, if that was the case, what was the big twist of the arc?
Boruto being
the
shot.
big twist that they come after the final, like the one that comes before the final battle. What was it? But what was Boruto's giving up in pep talk moment? There was none. What was Boruto's
him saying that he's
moment?
gonna stop charging Uzuhiko? Because now or never.
Yeah, is that the pep talk? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we just didn't get all those essential things. Now, alternatively, if that was the second battle, the big twist and disaster is Jura taking the soul thorn back or whatever. Okay. Well, this certainly wasn't a final battle. This is even worse than the Momoshiki arc. I mean, at least Boruto like talked to Momoshiki. In this one, bro was just on the ground, knocked out. Boruto didn't lift a finger. Jura just left. That would be the most unearned victory. Now there is option 3. Option 3, this is just still kind of the big twist and disaster, blah, blah, blah. We haven't gone to the final battle, so there's going to be another like 2 or 3 chapters. So the big twist is Jura taking the soul thorn back, and the final battle is yet to come. That's option 3. Now, honestly, I really can't see any of the 3 options, and I hate to say that, which I shouldn't think that all 3 are possible, but all 3 are possible.
I think it's going to be option 2. Option 3 would be my preferred option, because you still got Omnipotence set up in this arc, and Kawaki and Boruto are still right there. So even if Jura goes away, there's still more they could do there. Have Borushiki come out.
And that's why I think there's room for this. That's part of why, anyway.
Yeah.
Room for this arc to continue.
Okay. So I'm afraid that narratively they're thinking that Boruto overcoming and defeating Hidari earned his reward of Jura leaving. That's what I'm afraid they're going with. But he did it. He did it, so he's got to have a reward. He earned it. Let's have Jura leave. And the way they do that in the plot is by making the soul thorns, and that Jura gets the soul thorn. And now it's going to rot away. So he forced Jura into a corner to where Jura can't stay and fight. If he didn't have the soul thorn come out of Hidari, then Jura could have stayed and fight, but because he overcame Hidari, he defeated him, he forced Jura's hand by forcing the soul thorn out. I don't like it, though.
Nah, bro, it's terrible.
Yeah. So...
no, granted, I'm not gonna assume this is the end of the arc. Like I said, we'll come back to it at the end, assuming we even get to that in this stream. We did take like 3 hours to do the birthday stuff, so
yeah.
Not
one more thing I'll say for
hold
now.
ourselves to it, but
one more thing I'll say for now.
Yeah.
It's as though the heavens are urging you to stay alive. Is this what they call divine intervention? So, going with your thing of like, oh, Jura's doing anything he can to not act like a Tin Tails, he'll stall as long as possible. We already acknowledged that he does do that. And when it came to Inojin, or Team 10 or whatever, he ran out of options. There was nothing left for him to do, and so he didn't hesitate to act as Tin Tails.
Yeah.
Comparing Boruto to Inojin, where's Inojin's divine intervention? If he's this willing to let Boruto go for nothing, why did he even attack Inojin in the first place?
Yeah, because if anything, he probably got more amusement out of Inojin with the teamwork nonsense.
Like,
I feel like his desire to keep Inojin alive would be higher.
Exactly. I don't understand, bro. It's so bad.
And then again, though, like even then, like he talks about the Boruto. This is I guess small because we've already talked about it, but he talks about Boruto, your fate, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
Bro just forgot about Himawari. He forgot about his target. The reason he's still there.
The reason he came here in the first place.
You too, Himawari.
Yeah.
Yeah, Naruto. What does he even remember Naruto's name?